Hey, what's up? This is Jaxler, and this is part 1 of the any percent tutorial for Neopets the Darkest Faerie. So there is a part 0 of this series that accompanies this video, so please make sure that you go watch that before you start watching this video, or else this won't make any heckin' sense, okay? Because I covered a couple of resources that you should check out and certain things about this stuff that's really going to be helpful for you. Okay, so a couple things to note. I have this controller cam synced up to my inputs, so hopefully that's helpful. And then above my splits, I mentioned this in the previous video, but above my splits will be a bunch of memory addresses for loading in different levels. Now with the free McBoot card, which I covered previously, you can load up a hack pack that allows you to load in different different levels with memory addresses. So for each different segment of the run, I'll be including some helpful memory addresses that will hopefully help you to get back to those areas quicker so that you can practice them later. Alright, so without further ado, let's just get started. So this video will be covering entering Meridell and finishing the arena, because those splits are pretty straightforward. So time starts for speedrun when you hit new game here. So as soon as you hit X here, the timer starts. So we're gonna get started in 3, 2, 1, go. I missed the timer. Okay, don't worry about it. Alright. So, alright, make sure that you are pressing start at X, and that will just help you skip these first couple of cutscenes faster. And then you're gonna want to mash square to get through this set of text boxes. Okay, when you first load in, hit right on the right stick, and it should pan your camera over towards the house. Go past the house to this hill over here, okay? You're also going to see me steer with the camera a bit. That's just a personal preference thing. Okay, so right here, when you get to this hole, okay, you're going to want to hold down L2. So L2 is like this combat strafe ability. That's kind of like a downgraded Z-targeting thing from the Zelda games, if you will. So, we're going to attack this in a bit more depth later, but when you run off, normally when you, like, hop off this ledge, you get, like, this auto jump, right? But, if you hold down L2, it will cancel auto hopping for any ledges. So you're going to hold run, L2, and then just hold towards the hole, and you'll just fall right through, okay? Now, immediately turn to the right, and go ahead and open this treasure chest, alright? So now at this point, you want to have over 150 Neo points, okay? We need 500 Neo points in order to buy the Squire Sword in Meridell, okay? So, if you have less than 150, you should probably just reset the run, even if it's your first. The backup for not getting enough Neo points here is really freaking slow, okay? Alright. Then we're just going to exit the cave as you would casually, so just going to settle over here. There is a strat you can do here, but it's a little bit tricky, and it's not worth covering for a beginner run. So just drop here as soon as you can. Try not to jump onto the vines. It can cause like a stun animation for Tor when he grabs onto it if you jump. So just be a little careful. Then we're immediately going to go across past the house to the other hill, okay? So avoid touching that milk bucket, or you'll get a cutscene. And so, now we're going to head up here towards this cornfield over here. Alright. So, now we're going to be doing a trick that's going to let us skip out of this tutorial area early. So, if you look right here, there's this seam right here where the terrain starts to go down a bit, okay? You want to stand around right here where the grass meets the road and where this sort of seam is. You don't want to be too far off or you'll lose sight, so it's okay to be a little bit further back. So something nice about the L2 strafe mechanic is that when you hit it, it'll recenter Tor so that his back is directly facing to the camera. So with L2 and using the right stick, you can use it to basically position Tor wherever you want. Essentially what we're going to be doing is ledge grabbing the top of this cliff, and it should look something like this. So the way that's helpful for me to set this up is I go back to that spot, so where the grass edge meets the dirt path, back up a little bit so I'm past where the slope starts to go down, and then what I do is while holding L2, I aligned the camera so that the tip of Tor's right ear, so like the very tippy point of his ear, aligns with the last edge of that sort of rock wall that is obscured by the rest of the camera. So his right ear is aligned with the edge of that wall. So then once you're set up, hold down R2. Backing up a little bit can help. Make sure you don't jump like too late, because then you'll start jumping from a lower position, and that will make it harder. So just hold forward and run forward. So holding R1 and jump. Okay, and you'll notice that once I get to the very end, I very lightly start moving towards the left a bit. And you see I got it off a literal auto hop. So you want to turn at the very end of your jump. Now, you can, like, hug the wall even closer if you really want to. So you could, like, do something like this. But you risk losing some height. So it helps to go a little bit further out to the right, okay? So I'll show this one more time. So, for example, so coming from here, I'm going to go up to this corner. You can kind of see, like, all three, like, the edge of the slope and where the grass meets the path all kind of coalesce on this one point right here. You can kind of see it where this sort of angle is right here, okay? And I stand myself where the grass meets the dirt, line up towards ear with the right side of the cliff, hold, back up a little bit, hold run, jump, and then at the as soon as I reach the top of my jump, I go up and to the left a little bit. So I would recommend looking at my controller cam for a better idea of when I turn left. So just like that, and it should get you up here. Okay? Alright, so now what you do is once you get up here, you should land to the right of this tree. Go between the two of these trees. Alright, so now, so let's talk about something here real quick. At y equals 0, when you fall off terrain in this game, there will be a floor that extends infinitely that will catch you. So what we're going to be doing is running out of bounds, essentially, to escape the tutorial here. Now, from this small rock from the right, if you count 3 of these dark lines, so this one is 1, this one's 2, this one is 3. What you want to do is hold L2 so that you run. You'll be falling off a ledge, so you want to make sure you're holding L2. Hold L2 and run, which is R1, and then just hold forward right through here. And you should land right here, okay? So there's this sort of tree line texture in front of me, and there's this really big fat tree right in front of me. You want to run straight through this tree, okay? Very important. If you run too far to the right, you'll end up loading the rest of the farms in Meridell, and that'll make it basically unprogressible. So you have to be a little bit careful here. So I tend to go a little bit more to the left to play it safe, but generally speaking, just run through this tree and hold forward for a little bit here. Okay, you can also tilt your camera up, just to get an idea of where the collision is to make sure that you're running in the right direction. And then once you get far enough, you're kind of good to go. So at this point, I go up and to the right for just a little bit. Now, what we're doing is aiming for a very specific piece of collision. Now, when you're on this y equals 0 plane, the game will attempt to place you back in bounds on collision that thinks you should, in theory, be standing on, right? So if you look ahead of us, there's this, like, green platform that's, like, the one that's closest to us. So I'm running towards this, like, corner where 2 edges of this platform meet. And if I run right to the spot, so you see I'm running underneath this platform, it should warp me up to it. So now I'm all the way up here. So let me back up one time so you can see the platform we just fell off of. Okay? That's the platform we came from. So now all you do is you just run on top of it. Nothing crazy. Oh, I have to do a backup here. There we go. Okay. So when you load end levels, certain invisible walls can just, like, appear and stuff, so you have to be a little bit careful. Alright, now just follow where I go from here. So you may end up, like, somewhere over here or something like that. Go to the left of these 3 trees through this wall. So you're gonna see, like, to where, like, almost want to fall off. Don't let them do it. Oh, where's my camera? Thank you. Alright. So go through here, I said go through here. Alright. Sometimes your camera will go flip around if you're too slow. Alright, so you're going to go down through this curved slope to the left, and you'll see this patch of flowers. Just jump through the wall, and you'll be back in bounds. So this puts us past the part in casual play where you save that poor guy, and he gives you, like, the medallion that protects you from the Darkest Faerie's magic. Alright, so now you've skipped the tutorial. Good job. So now what we're going to be doing is, since we don't have a sword, we have to go to one more place to get money. So holding L2 to fall straight down the cliff, and we're going to be going into the Thieves' Hideout to get the gold rose. So getting the gold rose, we can give it to the prince that got stranded out here. And giving that to him will give us 350 Neo points. Okay, so we're just going to run through here. And then into this first chamber, you're going to go to the left. And there will be this chest right here. Just go ahead and open that. Now, something you need to be careful of is once you get out of these dialogue boxes, there may be a guy like right here who might, as soon as you let go of this, might want to attack you. So what you want to do is, in advance, you want to get ready to hold left, the run button, and then as soon as he hit finish, jump in the air. See how he swung at me? If you're in midair when you get hit, you'll still continue moving for a little bit. So that helps as like a recovery strat. Also, if you see him about to attack you, if you see an enemy about to attack you in general, just jump. So now once you've gotten the rose, head to the left out of the cave. And now we're just going to be platforming back up to go give it to the prince, okay? So there's a certain distance you can jump from like right here where you can actually avoid grabbing the ledge. It's a rather minor thing for like your first run, but it's just something to note. All right. And then once you land right here, face the prince and hold L2 when you come up here. There's a bunch of terrain here that when you're climbing up will cause you to hop in the air. And if you hop in the air, you can't run. So it's a little bit faster. So we mash through his dialogue box twice to get 350. Make sure you do it twice. Then we're going to cross the bridge. So this should be familiar to you if you've played it casually. Jump over this tightrope section. Jumping over that will allow you to move a bit faster. And then jump up the ladder. And then when you get to the top, just stop and hold up. That's the fastest way to navigate through that section. Okay. So now coming up here is our first moat. We're going to be grabbing a leaf moat because it'll help us deal extra bonus damage to enemies later. Just a little bit of a time save, okay? So what I'll be doing is jumping into it. And so when you grab a moat for the first time, you'll get a text box for it. Okay? Like that. And you're going to see the game stall for a fat minute, right? So you want to jump into moats if it's the first one you're getting in order to skip that dialogue. And that's especially helpful on slower PS2s. Alright, so we're about at Meridell now. So generally speaking, where the community splits for entering Meridell is as soon as the screen fades to black here. So as soon as we walk into Meridell, we'll enter a cutscene. So it's going to fade to black and then split. Alright, so this is a pretty nice portion of the run to just crack open a drink. There's not like any like major dialogue you have to mash through for like 30 seconds or so. So I'm taking a sip of water here, but just get ready to mash square. Oh, not yet. Wrong cutscene. Okay. So then, we're actually going to go chase these guys down. The reason why is that even though we don't have to do this quest, these shops and arena in Meridell will not open until you follow this progression, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so as we come to the end, I'm going to explain water warping real quick. So, there are some water planes in this game that will just insta-trigger game overs if they don't know where to take you. Get ready to mash start next here, by the way. But in most areas, when you jump into water, it'll put you in a set location in a map, okay? So we're going to be abusing that by, again, hold L2 as you fall off to avoid the auto jump. And then this will put you right by the arena, which we'll come back here later. We're going to run from the dock coming this way. So we're going to kind of come back the way we came in order to go to the sword shop. Now, at this point, what I like to do is hit down on the D-pad and hover over the leaf mote. The quick select mote menu will store the position of your cursor. So we're going to be equipping it right away, so it's helpful to menu to that while you're not doing anything. So here's the shop. Mash through some text here with square, and then run and grab the sword. Okay? Now, I like to open the menu here, because you don't want to mash square when you're coming to a door or when you're running. Because what happens is you'll just start, like, doing the sneak up thing. So, try not to mash square when you're trying to go through a loading zone like that, okay? So then, once you get out of there, you essentially, out the door, you head left, and then right. And we're going to be immediately going back to the moat. So again, holding down L2 to avoid auto jumps. Jump up here, hold down L2, and then you fall into the water, okay? Now, something you can do right here is jump into this lady's text box, and you'll continue moving during her dialogue. So we're going to head into the first fight here. So you should have your leaf mode equipped. You can do this at the start of the fight if you want to. Now, something you need to be careful of here is that if you move the camera stick, which is the right stick by default, left or right during these cutscenes, it'll rotate during the cutscene before you're ready, and it won't have you facing towards the enemy. Okay, so what we're going to do is just immediately run up and attack him with the 3-hit combo. If you don't know how to do that, that's just kind of like a basic gameplay thing you should know if you played this game casually. This fight is kind of random, so just throw those 3-hit combos at him until he dies. So the big purpose of doing that fight is to get the shield. Getting the shield allows us to beat the game at all. So now you have a shield. Alright, so once you do that, just walk up to her and enter the next challenge. We're going to be doing all of the arena fights in order to get the money. Now for this next fight, I'm going to be doing this a little bit fast, so you may want to, once I do this fight, pause the video. But we're going to be abusing a trick called shield canceling in order to get through this guy really quickly. So what I'll be doing is at the end of each 3-hit combo, I'll be canceling it by holding down L1 to shield, like this. Shield, shield, boom. And that'll let me cancel the ending animation of my 3-hit combo and allow me to stun lock him. So generally for that fight, you just want to hold towards the Xe Raider, and that should deal with him for you. So just to show you what that shield canceling looks like again, all I'm doing is holding down L1 at the end of my 3rd hit. And you see how he snaps right to his shield? So you don't want... And the nice thing is that as soon as you shield, you can start up another 3-hit combo. So this takes a little bit of practice to get used to, but it's incredibly helpful. Okay. Alright, now with that done, let's go handle the Sludgy fight, okay? So, before we get into it, Sludgy has 2 attacks. He has an overhead slam and a wind-up haymaker. We're going to be doing a bit of a beginner strat here for this fight. There's a bit of a risky strat that you can take, but that's not really worth covering in a beginner tutorial, okay? So, what we're going to be doing is running up to him and holding shield, okay? And we're going to react to one of his 2 attacks, okay? So, run up, hold shield. So if he does the wind-up attack, you do a 3-hit combo. And if he's just not doing anything, just throw a hit at him. And that'll usually trick him into throwing a haymaker. That overhead slam attack will stun you. Just keep holding shield until he does a wind-up punch. That's my best advice. Alright, so we get 750 for that. So talk to the lady. And now this fight's really simple. It's a skeleton warrior, so all you do is run up to him and do the shield canceling trick again with 3-hit combos. So I will show you what that looks like. Now, I tend to mash with square on my left thumb out of preference, and also just to keep pressure off my right thumb. Yeah, so once you get him down to the last couple bits, you can kind of just mash circle there. He has so little health at that point that there's no point in going for the extra damage from a 3-hit combo. Alright, and now we're going on to the last fight here. So something I want to mention is that the last fight, after we close out of that dialogue, is generally when we split for finishing the arena. Now, you need to be very careful for this last fight. You do not, and I repeat, do not want to shield cancel here, okay? What you're going to do is hold forward and run again like we've been doing with the previous fights. And just do regular 3-hit combos without shield canceling, okay? If you don't shield cancel frame perfectly, he'll block the attack and he'll probably kill you, okay? So this is what the fight looks like optimally. As long as you're holding towards him, Tor will kind of just generally angle himself towards the Werewolf Elite. And then that's the end of the arena here, okay? So now I'm going to pause the timer because that is the first 2 splits of the run here. So that was the end of part 1 of this tutorial. So I've been Jaxler, and thank you so much for watching this. If anything in here has caused a couple of questions or concerns, or you're a little bit confused, there's a bunch of good ways to get in contact. Feel free to leave me a YouTube comment. Find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Jaxler1. Send me a tweet or DM me. Or you can find us in the Discord, which I mentioned in episode 0, but there's always going to be a link in the description for these videos, okay? Alright, the next video will be exclusively covering this next segment, which is getting the Cloak of Heroes. The reason why is that there's a lot going on in this split, and there's a lot of explaining that I have to do. So we're going to cover that all in one separate video, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you in part 2.